And we're coming to you live for the Build for Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason and Gregg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network and wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Monday morning, MLK Day. I know a lot of you are off, but we are here breaking everything down. Probably got some people watching, more people watching on CBS Sports Network this morning to break down divisional playoff weekend. Two great overtime games, one blowout game, one halfway okay game. But, man, I tell you, last night the Chicago Bears and the L.A. Rams with this overtime game and a play, if the Bears had gone on to win, that would have gone down in Chicago Bears history as one of the great plays in their franchise history. And I'm talking the Bears have been around forever. That 4th and 4 Caleb Williams touchdown pass to tie the game in regulation. Just amazing. Josh Allen is out. There's some tears there. We got a backup quarterback in Jarrett Stidham after Bo Nix breaks his ankle in the championship game. The Patriots are back, and the Seattle Seahawks dominate. And tomorrow will really be a John Harbaugh day over there at MetLife Stadium as they introduce the new coach. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, G. No, a lot of happened since we left on Friday. And a lot of that surrounds the NFL. And the first thing I do want to say in regards to that is that you remember there was a report coming out of NFL Network that the deal wasn't done with John Harbaugh yet.
Yeah.
And I sat here and I told you, I said, there is no way in the world that John Harbaugh is going to back out on John Mara. There's just no way. And I wherever that report came or wherever they put that report out and putting Giant fans in a little bit of state of shock with the contract not being totally done yet, I just thought it was really bad reporting because it makes John Harbaugh look bad. And John Harbaugh is not one of these guys that is a shiv guy. You know, he's a guy that stands for what Raven football was all about for 18 years. And Raven football had always been great. It was great in the preseason. It was great during the regular season. He won a lot of games. He won a Super Bowl. And he always did it, I think, with the ultimate amount of respect. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like there is a reputation that he has as a coach. And that reputation is basically impeccable. It's impeccable. And I would just say that when that report came out on Friday, I was a little bit annoyed because my reaction to that report when you read it was the fact that this is ridiculous. He is not going down this path this far with Joe Shane, Chris Mara, John Mara, Steve Tisch, Jackson Dart. He's just not going to go all the way down the path that he went and then all of a sudden back out in the end. And you're going to find out what he's going to say, I think tomorrow or whenever this press conference is going to be, is that this is the New York Football Giants. This is the Mara family who are respected throughout the NFL and always have been. And there was no way he was ever going to back out going this deep into the negotiation and interview process. So I just wanted to reflect back on that for a moment because that really, really annoyed me when you read it. It annoyed me when we left here on Friday. And then, of course, on Saturday, comes the news that he's, signed the contract and he's happy with everything that he's got and who he's reporting to. And I think Giant fans should really, really be happy that, that erroneous report on Friday was just that, erroneous.
Yeah, I mean, I never got too worried because of what you said on Friday, and I felt exactly the same way, especially with the John Mara angle of this and who John Harbaugh was. And I never really got all that scared with some of the things that were being said because I feel like, stuff like this happens in contract negotiations where they just have to iron out some details. I just feel like the Giant fan and the people who cover the team were just so in on this to the point where it just got over-covered to a point because the fan base was asking for information. Why isn't it signed? Why isn't it signed? We need this guy. Oh, my God. And it just got crazy where everybody just should have relaxed and understood that it was going to get done. But it is done, and tomorrow at noon will be the press conference, and Evan and Tiki and Sean Morash will be there.
Oh, great. All right,
so
good.
They'll be there. They better get them with a exclusive interview if they're going to be down there, right?
Well, we are the voice of the New York Giants.
Flagship station.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, and Tiki's over there. So
Yeah.
I think that would be a good place for him to start.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once he's done with the press conference and answering the questions from the assembled media, walk right over to Evan Tiki and Sean Morash.
Right.
There's no better welcome to New York than saying hello to Sean Morash, right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
This is what you're dealing with, Coach Harbaugh.
Yes.
Good luck.
Right, absolutely.
But I will say that, and it looks like Todd Monken's going to be the offensive coordinator. And if you look back a few years ago, Lamar Jackson had 2 spectacular seasons under Todd Monken's direction, and I think he's going to be great for Jackson Dart. It should be perfect, and now it just comes down to who he'll select as his defensive coordinator. And the other thing that happened on Friday, you and I were talking about where Kevin Stefanski was headed, and I really felt like Atlanta was the next best place. He would have taken the Giant job had John Harbaugh not been available, by the way. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
So he ends up going to Atlanta, and it's 2 Philly boys now running the Atlanta Falcons. That's, of course, our Kevin Stefanski and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, both from Philadelphia, and I think Matt Ryan is really, really stoked about getting Kevin Stefanski to run that franchise, and I think they're going to keep Jeff Ulbrich as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he did a really nice job for them last year. And one thing I do like about Todd Monken coming to the Giants is he's not going to be the next head coach for somebody else. Like, he's going to ride this thing out with John Harbaugh.
Yeah, he wants to be with John Harbaugh.
So, like, if it works, then you don't have to worry about the young offensive coordinator becoming a head coach somewhere else. You got to start all over with the offense. Like, these guys are going to be together. So if Jackson Dart and Todd Monken start working well together, then that's great because they're going to stay together, which I think is really a tremendous thing. We'll see who the defensive coordinator is. But as we know, you can turn it around very, very quickly. And one of those 2 teams that turned it around quickly, the New England Patriots, now have a game where they're going to be facing a backup quarterback with a chance to get that franchise back to the Super Bowl. Now, we've seen it before. Have not really seen it, though, happen in the playoffs. Now, we've seen, obviously, Nick Foles take over in the regular season. You've seen Hostetler take over in the regular season. So Tom Brady take over in the regular season.
Yeah, but those guys took over in the regular season. That's the key.
Right, but we haven't seen this.
Yeah, we have.
And a guy go and win?
Yes.
In the playoffs?
Yes. And lead the greatest comeback in the history of the NFL. My man, Frank Reich.
Oh, but I'm talking about win a Super Bowl. I was talking about win a Super Bowl.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about winning a game. I thought you were talking about winning a game.
Every guy that I mentioned prior to that was win a Super Bowl. So we've seen guys go and win.
They also played in the regular season.
Right, exactly. So this we had never seen before. A guy take over, do this, then win a Super Bowl. But if he wins this game, that would be absolutely amazing at this point. But we don't know. I mean, I don't know a ton about Jarrett Stidham. I don't know if he's going to step in. I haven't seen him in practice. I have no idea. Sean Payton's going to be, of course, getting him ready. But this is a fascinating thing, and let's hope it's a fascinating thing. He doesn't go out there and stink and give us a game like C.J. Stroud gave us yesterday.
He could. He really could. I think Sean Payton will keep it really, really basic, which is good for the New England Patriot defense, who, by the way, did assault the Texans last week, and they had another dominating performance. So that's 2 performances in a row against the Chargers and, of course, the Texans, where, the Texans were missing a couple of players, Nico Collins being one of them. Dalton Schultz ended up leaving the game. Previously, Alton Slater, the tackles for the Chargers, were missing. They took advantage of that, and they beat the hell out of Justin Herbert. And now they get to go on the road to Denver with a backup quarterback who, by the way, they drafted. I think 4 or 5 years ago in the 4th round. So they know Jarrett Stidham pretty well. But, the thing is funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who charts these different games and charts games differently than most people will chart. And one of the things he said about Bo Nix that goes unsaid is how he actually exhausts opposing defense when they play at altitude at Mile High. I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, do you realize that Bo Nix, and this he was charting this. He said, Bo Nix in the first half against the Bills ran for over 450 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He was running all over the place. Huh. So by the time you get to the 4th quarter, this is one of the reasons why Joey Bosa takes roughing the passer penalty. He's so frustrated and so crazy that, he's just got to hit the guy once because he can't catch him. And that is a big part of the Denver offense. You don't think about it because those yards don't go down on the stat sheet. But at the end of the day, when you're charting where he's running and all these guys running after him all over the place, that is a big part of the success that they have late in games. So now that part of their game is out of the game. And now they're going to have a statue back there in Jared Stidham. And I'm sure that there's going to be like 40 runs called. They're going to try to win special teams wise. They're going to try to win with defense, try to get Drake May to fumble the ball in the pocket like he did yesterday and the week before against the Chargers. I mean, all of those things now come into play if the Denver Broncos are going to win this game. I don't see how they can win it, especially with the way that the Patriots defense have assaulted the previous two offenses they played. But now they got to go on the road and do it. That's the big difference.
Yeah, I mean, the way they win it is Jared Stidham plays better than any of us expected. That's really it, right? I mean,
no turnovers, man.
That would be it, that he goes in there and he's great somehow, and it's some sort of magical storyline, and we talk about it like we talked about Nick Foles and others, and even more so because this being his first start in an AFC Championship game. I mean, they're home. They got a great head coach. They got a good defense. But, yeah, it's going to be really tough. And the way that the New England Patriots just pounded the Houston Texans yesterday, just so impressive. And, man, C.J. Stroud, he was bad against the Steelers. He was an atrocity in this football game.
I would have pulled him at halftime, honestly. Oh. And I was, of course, we all have our text threads going, and I'm dealing with, coaches. I'm dealing with players. I'm dealing with ex-players. I'm dealing with friends. And everybody's like, would you pull C.J. Stroud? And I said, I'd give him to the end of the half and just to see how he does, to see if somehow, some way he'd get his team into field goal range or something. And he was horrendous. I thought that they were going to make the change, but he did come out and lead them to a field goal to start the second half. And he looked like he was playing better and more sure of himself. And the game was close into the fourth quarter until the final touchdown by New England.
Well, it's because the Patriots were turning the ball over almost as much as the Texans were turning the ball over, and that's the only reason why it stayed close. I mean, I could not believe the interceptions, and then Drake May with the fumbles and everything else. But CJ, you know how they used to do score-agami? Remember score-agami?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
So it's like the unique. So now they do QB-gami. Does the quarterback have a unique stat line to any other time in NFL history?
It's got to be his passer rating, right?
So like 212, whatever the yardage, touchdowns, and interceptions are, right?
Okay.
That's what they call QB-gami. So C.J. Stroud, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 picks. Can you believe that stat line happened once before? That exact stat line happened once before in the history of the NFL?
In the playoffs?
No, not in the playoffs, just once in the history of the NFL. 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Do you remember?
Did I do it?
September 28th.
Minnesota Vikings.
1986. I don't have the opponent, but it just says that stat line happened one time before by Boomer Esiason on September 28th, 1986.
At Houston.
Okay, I have to look up the game.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of Houston. That could have been the game that I did get benched in, and I overturned the Gatorade table.
That would be great. 1986 Bengals season.
Bears.
So the Bears.
No, that was the third game of either the second or third game of the season. And, yeah, it was against the vaunted Bears defense.
Yep, there it is. 1 o'clock game.
And I'll never forget saying to my center, Dave
home.
Remington, man, it's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
It was like 90 degrees and 85% humidity. Oh, we got the Bears. They're not going to want to play in this weather. Oh, they kicked the living crap out of us.
Yeah.
I remember I think I hit Anthony Munoz in the back with a pass that Wilbur Marshall ended up intercepting.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, was there any way that this, came across your feed or anything yesterday? Because, people are nuts with the stats, or they sent you highlights of it, but it's unbelievable. But you know what? That game, you went on to have a season, a pretty good season. You were 10-6 that year.
And that was the year that we missed the playoffs, and we were waiting. It was a final Monday night game, and it was New England at Miami. And I think if New England had won, I think we would have made the playoffs. And that was the pre-expanded playoffs.
And in week 16, You beat the Jets 52-21.
Yes, we got a little bit better as the season went on. Yes.
Yeah, beat the Jets in 1986, final game of the season to go to 10-6. Yeah, 52-21. But yeah, so C.J. Stroud, that's brutal. And if you're the Houston Texans and you have that defense and you saw the way that he has regressed from his rookie season, I mean, do you go into this offseason thinking we may have to make a change here? We made to the divisional round now 3 straight years and then lost pretty handily and 3 straight years.
And I don't care. You had the best defense.
Yeah, I mean without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, nobody's disputing that.
I mean, if you know that's a Chicago Bear type of defense. You know, you got to play like Jim McMahon would play. You would have to play like Trent Dilfer would play, and you're not going to lose because you either have the 2000 Ravens or you have the 85-86 Bears.
Yeah.
That's exactly who Houston is as a defense.
You know, people always give Trent Dilfer crap for being like the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
He didn't do this.
Exactly. Exactly right. He knew what he had, and he limited his mistakes and was able to be a Super Bowl winning champion by doing the right thing.
Well, Brian Billick told him.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to run the ball with what I think it was Jamal Lewis, wasn't it?
Yeah, back then.
We're going to run the ball. We're going to do a lot of play action and bootlegs. You're going to get us right into the right run, and then our defense is going to assault the other team. We're going to get great field position, and we're going to score a couple touchdowns and win games.
Yeah, and I know that he lost weapons, and I know Nico Collins was his number one target throughout the year. He didn't start the game, and then you lose Schultz, and then guys are dropping passes. I understand it wasn't easy, but 4 interceptions in a half, and with that defense, I mean, you
just couldn't handle the weather either.
Yeah.
You know, this is why you have to build your team certain ways. If you have an outdoor cold weather city stadium and you're fortunate enough to get home field advantage. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, you're the New England Patriots, you're the Jets or the Giants, you're up there in Green Bay or Chicago. I mean, Kansas City and Denver. I mean, these are all outdoor stadiums in cold weather cities. And you have to be able to run the effing football. You have to. And if you can't do it, which they couldn't do yesterday because the New England defense smothered their running game as well, you know, you're not going to win these football games.
One more thing on the Bears and the Rams before we take a break. Did you think Ben Johnson was going to go for 2?
I know he thought about it, but, man, there were a couple times where they had those short yardage plays where the Rams defense bowed up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he didn't go for 2. I mean, I still think, you know, kicking a field goal early in the game, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, he is so overwhelmingly always going to go for it on 4th down that I think at the end of the day that ends up hurting them. Now, sometimes it helps. You know, he throws a touchdown on 4th and goal, which was great. But early on, I mean, you know, there's nothing wrong with taking a field goal. There's just not. And, you know, I know that you're playing the Rams and you're thinking that your defense is probably not that good and they're going to give up some points. But I think he's uber aggressive. And while I do like it at times, I think he can back off a little bit.